Right, imagine actually waking up in the morning feeling so fucking excited, so happy. Your body feels amazing, you exude confidence. You're able to handle the stress and adversity of your day-to-day life with ease, and you're not falling back into those old destructive habits where you feel like you need drugs or alcohol or some sort of release just to feel better, okay? Now, this isn't impossible, yeah? Now, I'm telling you this, it's December the 31st I'm recording this, and on January the 2nd, 2019, I was 110 kilograms, I was fat fucker, I had man boobs, I was overweight, I was fucking depressed with my life, I was addicted to cocaine, I was drinking every fucking day, I was eating like a fucking pig, and I looked in the reflection, I hated myself, all right? Now, I made a decision that day, the 2nd of January, that I was gonna stop drinking and I was gonna stop eating like shit, and I was gonna change my life, all right? I was set aside 1 year to do this, and I was like, I'm gonna go all in. Now, I thought at first this was gonna be impossible, yeah? And within 6 months, I'd lost all of the weight. I'd lost 30 kilograms. I got in the best possible shape I've ever been in, a six-pack. And listen, within 5 years of this process, I've changed my whole life around. Now, I've traveled the world, I've gone 30 different countries, I've started a family, I've started a business, I've just had a new child, and literally these were all things that I thought were previously impossible. So in this video, guys, I'm going to show you the 5 steps that you can take right now to completely change your life around, all right? And it only takes 6 months, I promise you. So the first one I want to talk about is your vision, okay? So in order to get towards a goal, you first of all need to know where you're going, right? Now, think of a ship in a harbor, right? If you give 2 ships, the first ship has no captain, no crew, and the second ship has a captain, a crew, and a destination, right? Now, out of the 2, when you push them out to the sea, which one do you think is going to make it to that destination, right? Now, 99% of the time, the one with the captain and the crew is going to get to where it wants to get to, or at least very close, right? And the other ship, if it even gets out of harbour, is going to be at the whim of the ocean and the whims of the events of life, all right? Now, the exact same goes for us. If we don't have that clear goal, that clear and defined vision of the future and where we want to go, we are at the whim of life's events, okay? Now, when stress, adversity, difficulties arise, we are more likely to fall into these old destructive habits, these drinking, these partying, these food, all of these sort of things to release and get some sort of stress. However, when we have that clear and defined goal, we know exactly where we want to go. And we can filter through all of these different things. So if I want to get to this goal, are these actions, are these behaviors, are the things I'm doing taking me closer to or further away from my goal? All right, now if you go back to the analogy of the ship, if you were to go to that captain in that ship and you said to him, where is your destination? Without hesitation, he would reply to you the exact coordinates, okay? Now, if there was a storm and it was knocked off of course, then the captain would look at all the data, look at the wind speed, look at the knots, all that sort of shit, whatever the fuck they check, and he would then start to adjust the rudder and get back on course, okay? Now, the exact same goes for your life, is when we don't have that clear goal, that clear and defined vision, well, first of all, any kind of stress, any adversity that happens, of course, you're just going to be at the whim of life's events. So when stresses occurs, of course, you're going to fall back into destructive habits, drinking, distraction, avoidance, release, all that sort of stuff. But when we have that clear and defined goal, we know exactly where we're going, right? So we can start to filter it through these things. Is this getting me closer to my goal? Is it not? All right, and we start to have an actual why behind it. Okay, now Viktor Frankl, in his book Man's Search for Meaning, he said a man with a why can deal with almost any how, which is so true, right? When we have a clear and defined goal of where we want to go, it starts to be more meaningful, okay? I've got this goal that's much bigger than me, much bigger than the circumstances I'm in, and in order for me to get there, I have to go through some stress, some adversity, some pain. And this is the part of it, right? The stress and the adversity, the pain now becomes meaningful, and it's something that we can deal with rather than having to avoid, okay? Okay, second step to change your life around is going to be do hard things, facing difficulties, facing adversities, okay? Now, the times in my life I've been the most stressed are the times when I have been avoiding the things that I don't want to do, okay? Seeking instant gratification, drinking, drugs, alcohol, porn, all that sort of stuff. all right? Anything for a release, quick dopamine fix, but then once that's worn off, it's fucking 10 times worse, okay? Now, the biggest thing that changed for me was when I literally decided I'm going to face every single hard thing in my life, all right? Now, I specifically don't like to get up early. I do not like to run. I do not like to exercise. I don't like to do any of these things, okay? But the beauty about this is, and this step is that when you do the things you don't want to do voluntarily, life gets easier, all right? All of the other stresses, all the other adversities, everything else becomes a lot easier. And doing these hard things, doing the things you don't want to do, is best done in the morning, okay? Only in the morning, because the morning is the hardest part of the day, in my opinion. When you wake up in the morning, the alarm goes off and you're in your comfortable bed and it's nice and warm, the last thing you want to do is get up and exercise or get up and get in the cold, right? You just want to stay in the bed, yeah? Now, what we do when we get up on time and we don't press the snooze button, we are beating that voice in your head, okay? Now, you might think I'm crazy, but everyone has a voice inside their head, all right? Now, let's do a little thought experiment. Get the voice inside your head to say hello. Get it to shout hello really, really loud, all right? Don't say it out loud, but get the voice in your head to shout it. Now, it does it, right? Now, this voice is constantly narrating your life, okay? And this voice is the accumulation of your childhood. It's the accumulation of school, friends, family, society, religion, all of these people, okay? Now, when we are a child, we are being conditioned and programmed, essentially 0 to 7 being the most important years, but up until our adult life, okay? Now, being a child, we are accepting whatever our parents, our friends, our family, whatever they say, okay? Now, this voice is basically their voice narrating your life, okay? So it's either going to be working for you or it's going to be working against you. So you'll hear it. It's that voice that comes to you and says, oh, you don't need to do this. You've done enough today. Just relax, all right? You don't need to go out for a run or just have another burger, or it's just whatever, right? It's that voice that is in your head that is trying to seek comfort, yeah? Now, when we have these exercises, when we run, when we get up early, when we do the hard physical things, doing the things we don't want to do, we are winning the battle in our mind against that voice. Okay, now we have to do this day in and day out, and every time we do it, there is actually a part of your brain which neuroscientists have discovered, and it's called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, which is responsible for willpower, and it's also known to be the seat of your willpower, right? So this area of your brain actually grows every time you do the things you don't want to do, which is fucking madness. Your willpower, your will to live, right? Your will to live and want to create and what you want to give to the world is actually growing and getting stronger every time we do the things we don't want to do. Okay, now this can be everything. This can be exercise. I find the best to do it is exercise, right? Hard physical exercise is the best way to shut that voice up, because you'll know when you're in the middle of a run, that voice is going to say, oh, James, just relax, man, chill out, go home, you've done enough, it's cold, all right, you're hungry, you don't need to run today, yeah? And that is the voice that, if is left unchecked, that will continue throughout the rest of the day, okay? So you may think, oh yeah, I'll take it easy this one. Well, that voice is going to come back in every single other area, right? In business, in relationships, in work, it's going to be doubting you. It's going to be saying, oh, take it easy, you don't need to send all of those messages, or you don't need to put this out, you don't need to do that, right? So we are winning that mental battle in the mind every single morning, and by doing the things we don't want to do, okay? And then it makes the rest of life a lot easier, because I've done it. I've voluntarily put myself through it, so I know what it's like, okay? Now, when we're doing the exercise as well, and the hard physical exercise, we are literally preparing our body for stress, okay? No one wants to do things that they don't want to do. But when we do it, we're literally telling the body to get used and to being uncomfortable, to get used to this stress, so that when it faces involuntary stress, e.g. someone dies, or your missus leaves you, or fucking the overlords try and shut your business down because of a fake pandemic, then how do you react to that, right? Do you react with your old ways and you fucking flip out and you start drinking and you sniffing gear and all of that sort of stuff, and you're down that destructive habits? Or do you go, actually, no, this isn't the way that I react. I'm taking control of the voice in my head, and I've got proof, because every single morning I go out and I shut that voice up, okay? Now, the third trick for you guys is question everything, all right? Question everything. Now, I mentioned it before, but we are basically a program from birth up until our present moment, okay? We're being conditioned and programmed by friends, by family, by religion, by schools, by all of it, okay? Now, by the time that we get to the age of about 30, we are basically 90% running on a subconscious program. Okay, and these subconscious patterns and these paradigms and these beliefs and these views are all based on our previous experience, right? So if we saw our dad fucking out every night on the beers, or our dad sniffing gear every night when he's stressed, how the fuck do you think we're gonna act? All right, if we see this, monkey see, monkey do. All right, so when we get to this age and we realize, okay, I'm eating shit, I'm doing these sort of things, then the key here is to start to question, okay, why do I believe these things? Why am I doing the things I'm doing? Why am I eating the things I'm eating? Why am I acting the way I'm acting? Why do I believe the things I believe? All right, now this is a pivotal moment in my life, because I would find that I would just be getting angry at everything, right? Why am I angry at this football team over that football team, right? Why am I angry about this war over that war? And what I actually realized, and it started with my transformation of food, okay? I was doing everything that society, that school, that religion, that all these people were telling me was healthy, was the healthy way to live, to be a healthy and happy person. But I was getting fatter, I was getting sicker, more depressed, all right? And I couldn't figure it out why. I was doing all the right things, but I was still getting fatter. So I took things into my own hands. I started to relearn and retrain what I was eating. And what I started to realize was that everything I'd been taught about food was fucking lies, okay? And that was pretty much the opposite. So then that led me to naturally question, okay, if I've been told the most fundamental thing about what I'm putting in my body is incorrect, then what else could potentially be incorrect? So what I did, I started to dive deep into all of my beliefs, okay? I started to question, why do I think this way? Why do I believe this way? Why do I act this way? Now that process is actually in science called metacognition. It's the process of thinking about one's own thoughts, one's own beliefs, and one's own actions, right? Now, a lot of people don't get there until they get to their worst possible point in life, okay? They get to some sort of crisis, the fucking world's ending, and they then only start to think, why am I acting this way? How did I get here? Okay? Now, once you realize that, and once you start to question and try and find out, why do I believe the things, you start to notice that almost everything in your environment is there to fuck you up, okay? They keep you sick by telling you the wrong information about food, okay? They keep you poor. The whole education system is designed to keep you as a slave-minded person, all right? Go to school. The whole society is to keep you in this slave mentality, the 9-to-5 grind. So you get your good grades, you get in debt at university, you get out, get your car and your house on finance, you get your job and you work 9 to 5 for 65 years until eventually, if you're fucking lucky, you've still got your health, and then you can retire and do all the things that you wanted to do when you're healthy, yeah? Now, in my opinion, that's fucking mental, right? But they have convinced everyone that that is the way. Now, when you start to question it, you start to think, well, why do I believe that that is the right way? And why do I start to act this way? Why am I feeling these ways, right? And then you start to notice that almost everything in your environment is designed to fuck up your progress, all right? The society doesn't want you strong, doesn't want you healthy, doesn't want you free, all right? Because a strong, healthy individual stands up for themselves and doesn't get pushed over by the outside world, okay? And the world wants you to conform. If that isn't evident after the scam of the pandemic and everything else that has happened beforehand, they want you as a slave, okay? So that then leads me on to the next section, which is your environment, okay? So step 4 is your environment. Now, you all know that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with, right? Now, you can see this as a child, right? 0 to 7 years old being the most programmable time of a child's life, and everything that happens in that child's life will be the results of their adult life, okay? So I think the quote is that give me a child up to the age of 7 and I will show you the man, okay? Now, if you still don't believe that the environment has a massive effect on you, there's a couple of studies I would like to share with you. So one of the studies is a rat park experiment, where essentially they took rats and they put them isolated in a cage on their own. Now, they had 2 water bottles. One water bottle was just regular and one was filled with cocaine, so it's laced with cocaine. And when you put the rats in the cage on their own, they will always, like 99% of the time, go to the water with the cocaine laced in it. And they'll just keep drinking until they kill themselves, okay? Now, when you put a rat in, it's called rat park experiment, right? So they put them in a rat park, and this rat park is filled with other rats. They can have sex, they've got toys, they can roam around freely. Their environment is changed. They have the same 2 water bottles, normal water and cocaine laced water. And guess what happens? Fucking hardly any of the rats will go to the cocaine laced water, and they will not get addicted. Okay, now this just sums it up, really, isn't it? It's your environment. When we are put in a cage, when we're isolated, say for example in the pandemic, when they locked you away, social isolation, told you to put a mask on, don't talk to each other, of course you're going to get depressed. Your environment, you're stuck in one place, of course you're going to reach for drinking, drugs and alcohol, right? The exact same goes in your life. So look at your environment, who you're surrounding yourself with, okay? Are these people that are driving you to become a better person, or are these people trying to pull you down? And you're going to fucking notice that, all right? When you start to make a change, when you make that strong decision that you ain't taking this anymore, there's going to be 2 types of people. The first type of person is going to be there getting motivated by it. They're going to be like, oh, fucking hell, James is changing. I like that. I want to jump on board. And it's going to be that second type of person, and it's going to rub them up the wrong way. And they're going to start to see you change, and that's going to hit something inside their ego, and they're not going to like it. So they're going to try and pull you down. It's crabs in a bucket. They will say, oh, you've changed. You used to be fun. I can't believe you're not drinking anymore, and all that sort of stuff, okay? You're going to quickly find out who are the type of people who you need around. Okay, and if those type of people aren't there right now, then you need to become the type of person that you want in order to attract that new tribe. Okay, now diffusion is where you put a water, let's say water and blackcurrant together, and you pour the blackcurrant in the water, and now the water turns into blackcurrant. The exact same goes for you and surrounding yourself with people who you want to be like, okay? If you are around people who have what you want or achieving what you want, just being around their presence is going to start to rub off. You're going to take on their mannerisms, you're going to speak like them, you're going to become more confident, you're going to take the actions similar to them, you're going to have the habits similar to them, okay? Exactly the same goes if you're spending your time with people who are down the pub sniffing gear all the time. That's what you're going to do, okay? So like I said, you ain't a tree. You can get up at any time and move. Now, if you're messaging me saying, oh, it's fucking difficult, I've got this, I've got that, yeah, it's difficult, but it can be done, okay? You're not a tree, you're not physically stuck. You can get up and move, all right? And that then leads me on to step 5. So the last part of this is your mind, okay? Now, we become what we think about all day long. So you literally have the ability to change your reality, change your results just by your thoughts. So your thoughts create your reality. Your thoughts and your feelings are just a reflection, or your outside world is a reflection of what's going on inside your mind and inside your feelings, okay? So you'll notice it when you're angry, you're stressed out, you're hating the world. Well, the universe starts to present you with situations, circumstances, events that will reinforce you feeling like shit, okay? Exactly the same goes the other way. If you're feeling amazing, you're gliding through the street, you've got confidence, you're happy, then the universe will present you with those exact same things, okay? So we become what we think about all day long. So what are you thinking about right now, okay? Are you thinking about, oh, victim mentality, this is terrible, my situation is horrible, fuck this, I can't believe it, I'm getting fucked over by everyone? Or do you start to see the other side of it? Do you start to see, okay, I'm in control of this. Well, where's the positives in this situation? How do I get myself out of this by seeing a different perspective? Okay, perspective is your superpower. No matter what situation you're in, you can always view it from a different point of view, okay? And there's always someone else out there who is worse off than you. Okay, so when you realize that you are in control of your thoughts and your emotions, then you can start to change your outside world and your outside reality. But with all of this, it takes some practice and a lot of fucking conscious awareness. Okay, now we're running on those subconscious patterns, those old subconscious programs, and if we're not conscious of it, our subconscious programming and our subconscious patterns are most probably 95% of us is negative. Okay, we are fearful, we've got lack, we've seen from birth, we've got our school system telling us we're not good enough, that you should just fit into the box. You've got your religion, you've got your family, you've got your exposure to financial stresses, maybe you saw lack, maybe you don't believe this can be done. All of these sort of things, these all start in the mind. Okay, what you think and what you believe will come true. Okay, if I believe I can do something, then I can. If I believe I can't do it, then I won't do it. Okay, and it's exactly the same. So you have to start realizing, what am I thinking? Okay, am I thinking positive thoughts? Am I thinking things that are good for me, or am I thinking fearful thoughts? And society, the world, wants you to think fearful thoughts. Okay, this is why you can see the news and all it is just pure fear. Okay, every single thing is fear. There's a bankruptcy, there is a war, there's a pandemic, there's this, there's that. It's all there to keep you in fear. When you're in fear, you are operating in fight or flight mode. When you're in fight or flight mode, your parasympathetic nervous system is not activated. You're in sympathetic mode. You are in go, go, go. Okay, your body is expecting there is a threat, danger outside. This is not a creative level of mind. Okay, so you want to create, you want to give to the world. It's impossible when you're stressed out. Okay, and when you're stressed out, you're in survival mode. So all you're thinking about is, where's the next money coming from? Where's this? Where's that? All right, and when you're in that mode, easy to control you, right? Of course you're going to go to work because you need to pay your bills. Of course you're going to do this or that. You don't have space to create that life that you want to create. All right, but when you start to put these and implement these steps in, you're going to start to notice your life changes, and real fucking quickly. All right, consistent daily actions, and within 6 months things will change around like there's no tomorrow. Okay, and I promise you. Now give it a go, guys, and let me know in the comments. Drop a comment below on how and if there's any other steps that you would take, and I appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe.